Hi, this is Marcia, and today I'm going to be talking about what blended learning looks like in a secondary classroom. I'm going to go through phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 and give you 3 key aspects for each one of those phases. Let's get started. When I ask most teachers about blended learning, they think that, I'm using technology, therefore I'm blending. Well, today I'm going to also tell you about how to use the technology as well as how to break up your lesson into 4 key aspects. Using technology is a great way to get started. Definitely the kids are making projects and are showcasing it, but we want to make sure that we're adding in also every type of modality. Auditory, kinesthetic, tactile. We're going to make sure all those things are part of our lesson. So phase 1, when we're setting up phase 1, students move from one studio to the next. A studio is a mini lesson, independent practice, digital content, future ready. All 4 of those work with the modalities that I just talked about. The students are going to work in designated areas, so they're going to get up and go to a specific spot. They're going to go to digital content. They're going to go to a mini lesson. And the teacher creates activities for the students to do when they go to the future ready. Don't get scared with future ready. Future ready means that they're going to create, collaborate, communicate, use some critical thinking. When all else fails, think about how you could use vocabulary in that future ready activity. Then it'll start getting some ideas going as you continue to plan. So let's take a look at some phase 1 examples. This is a phase 1 Algebra 2 classroom, a mini lesson. I love this mini lesson. Students are sitting there working with the teacher, dry erase board, working out the problems. The kids are doing some future ready activities. The reason why it's future ready is they're working together, they roll the dice, they're getting different variables. This is an organization idea. What I love about this is the teacher goes and puts all their stuff in the middle. So that way when they're moving, they don't have to worry about their backpacks. Digital content. Tons of directions. I love that if you need help. But he's also set it up as a digital content bar. So that way that when he's working in his mini lesson, he can see the students working as they're going. This is a video with Lightspeed. In the Lightspeed, the teacher's doing a mini lesson, but the student's having a question. He can't figure it out. So he calls the teacher, he pushes the call button. The teacher has a little earpiece in, here's a big one off, and now he's going to answer the question for the student. So now the teacher's like, yep, what do you need? He's like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm doing this problem right. So you can hear him doing this now. And the teacher gives them a heads up like, yep, you're doing it, it's on the right track. And the other students in his mini lesson are continuing to work on the problem. So it's not being distracting. So he didn't have to leave him, but he's able to use the Lightspeed pods to be able to communicate with that student during his mini lesson. There is a checklist in phase 1. A phase 1 checklist is a one-day checklist. The kids are going to go through, they're going to write out a reflection and continue through that. Now let's move to phase 2. In phase 2, the students are going to get a multi-day checklist. That means they're going to do it for more than just one day. They're going to move when they're ready. They no longer move as a whole group. There are going to be differentiated learning studios. I know. Let's start small. Just start with a differentiated mini lesson, meaning pull the students back by ability, work with the kids that are struggling, send them on their way, then pull back the kids that are just ready to go to the next level. Take them up to that next level of thinking. Finally, in phase 2, you're going to give choice, meaning give choice board, give choice activities, let them pick and choose what they want to do. So let's take a look. Here's a science classroom. Here are the different studios. The studios are all color coordinated. This is from my friend Allison from Zanesville, Ohio. I love her organization. But they're all color coordinated and she has studio experts. That's right, look at the tags. Task 4 is assigned to a student. So when students go back to that studio, they're going to find that student to help them with that activity. In the blended learning process, I love that the fact that the students are able to take ownership of their learning. This is not a teacher. This is a student in independent practice helping her friend figure out the concept. She has her dry erase marker. She's showing them how to do the skill, working through it. Guys, that's the best part about learning is that they're taking ownership of what's happening in the classroom. Here's a future ready activity. The kids are doing a sorting activity. It's kind of like little task cards that they're going to be doing when they're doing those activities. In phase 2, the teacher will call back the students to the mini lesson. That's right, they don't get a choice in the mini lesson. The teacher will call them back to the mini lesson when she's ready for them. This is a simple progression board. When the students are done with one of the activities, they just go up, sign their name. Here's another future ready activity. She added in some different variables for independent practice to go along with it. So kind of future ready and independent practice mixed together. Independent practice as well, where the kids just have time just to find a space to go and work. This teacher really wanted to put it out in the hallway so the kids could spread out. They have a really great common area, so her whole entire classroom went out into the hallway to learn that day. All right, now let's take it to social studies. When we're implementing it into social studies, the students are just going to be able to get up and move from one area to the next. This is one of their future ready activities that go along with his lesson. His lesson was on Industrial Revolution and the importance of a tractor. So they had him watch a song from Kenny Chesney, She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy. They had her read through the words to figure out how that tractor was related to the Industrial Revolution. Just some other examples. This is a mini lesson with lab tables. Yes, it's still possible to do it. We want to try to get as close as possible with the type of furniture you have. Digital content, they're learning from PhET. Here's some other examples. I love this mini lesson, very hands-on. This is from Zanesville. The kids are working through different atoms and molecules, and they're trying to figure that out. Now let's go to phase 3. In phase 3, they move to the next activity after mastery. So that means they're going to not be able to go on until they complete something. They're going to use data from pre-assessments to determine what they're ready to work on. And we're going to also add in a lot of project-based learning. So phase 2 checklist kind of looks a lot like phase 3 checklist, except now the students are using input and it's going to become personalized checklist. Here's an example of phase 3 in action. This is a honors geometry classroom. The students are all working at their own pace. Again, a student is conducting a mini lesson. The teacher is conducting a mini lesson as well, but the student's like, hey, I don't understand this. One student's like, I got it, I'll help you. There's Miss Fisher in the red. She is actually giving a mini lesson, and the students just work through the content at their own pace. Phase 3 also really adds in a lot of project-based or passion. So this student had this passion for learning and hands-on. So he was using these hands-on activities to help him learn the concepts that he's learning in class. Blended learning works. Blended learning works in elementary, middle, high school, and beyond. These are just some of my examples of what to look for in all 3 phases in a secondary classroom. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks, guys.